even if somebody loves us, they don't see us as the expert in that space. And their love for us does not surpass their desire to get top dollar for their home or find a place that they're going to love. Not nearly enough people know about what I'm doing. I need a bigger budget. I need to go viral. I need to spend more time on socials. I need to buy a list. I need. They don't care. It's an apathy problem.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of Glennda's Guru. I have got to tell you, I had the opportunity to meet Brittany Hodak at actually a speaker's workshop, and I was immediately impressed and captivated and inspired by her story, her success, and her energy, all of which she is going to talk to us about today. So Brittany, welcome to Glennda's Guru. We are excited to hear all about creating Superfans.
Well, thanks so much for having me, Glennda. It's great to see you again. What a fun excuse to hang out.
I know, it is so cool. We had so much fun together. We were in New York with Phil M. Jones, who I have also had on my podcast. For my audience who may not have heard of you, just give us a brief summary or tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I am an entertainment entrepreneur. I worked in the music industry for several years and then launched my own business that I ran for nearly a decade, bootstrapped that, grew it to an 8-figure annual business, and then sold it to focus full-time on teaching people about customer experience because it has been an obsession of mine for as long as I can remember. And I use a lot of my stories and what I learned from the entertainment industry working with huge stars and celebrities to teach everyday business people how they can turn their customers into superfans.
I love it. Well, I remember when you walked into the room, I immediately caught the energy and caught the Brittany superfan vibe. And I gotta tell you, that is that's a commodity. That is a superpower. When did you know that you had that? When did you say, oh, wait a minute, I'm really good at this. I can transfer these skills to other people. I can speak about this. I can bring this culture into large companies. How did you know? And when did you know?
I'm going to be honest. It was totally on accident. I never knew this line of work was something that existed. I was just running my business and working with celebrities. And because we had such great success in our company, I was often asked to do media stuff. My office was in Midtown Manhattan. I actually worked right across from the Empire State Building. And so I had several friends who were producers or publicists, and it was so easy for me to just, jump on a train and go uptown to be on CNN or Fox or Bloomberg or whatever. So I was on TV a lot. And I got a call one day from a casting producer who asked if I would come on Shark Tank and talk about the show on Shark Tank and pitch it or talk about the company on the show and pitch it to the sharks. And I thought, well, that sounds like fun. And so I said yes, just because I thought it would be a fun thing to do. And when that aired, I started getting lots and lots of calls from people saying, can you come present to my board of directors? Can you come talk to my company? Can you take everything you explained about the psychology behind the reasons we love the things we love and what people have to do to make their customers choose them at the exclusion of everybody else? And so it was totally on accident. And it took a little while, honestly, for me to figure out okay, this is something that is a real career. This is something that's sustainable. This is something that I can actually learn how to be really great at and make it the mission to become so good at it that people continue to invite me to come teach them things.
I love it. And how did you meet Phil? Just out of curiosity.
So somebody had told me that I needed to check him out. I can't even remember who it was. When I said, I want to be a speaker, and I was asking all of my friends, who's your favorite speaker that you've ever seen? And somebody mentioned Phil, and I read his book. And then a friend of mine who at the time was working at a title agency mentioned that they were doing an event that Phil was speaking at. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to come. And it was in Nashville. And I was like, can I come? Because it was closed just for people who worked in real estate or title. And she was like, of course you can come. And so I met him and I totally fangirled. I was like, I just started speaking and I want to do everything you're doing. And I remember he said he was he was going to take a car service from Nashville to Memphis for his next gig. And I was asking him if he knew what to do and where to eat in Memphis. And he did it. And I was like, don't worry, I'm going to hook you up. I'm going to send you all the things. And I sent an email. I was like immediately texting all of my Memphis friends, like, what are the coolest things to do in Memphis? I need to give like a VIP some ideas. And then we just stayed in touch. And that was, gosh, probably, I don't know, 6-7 years ago, quite a while ago.
That is amazing. So you kind of hit on something. I was in Boston in January and had the opportunity to meet a real estate agent there. And I call him Boston George. And he runs the Sarkis team with Douglas Elliman. And he had that same mentality of, oh, wait a minute, you're going here, or you need this, or this would help you, or you're looking for that. And automatically he fills that gap. He fills that void. He comes in and saves the day. He's like this superhero. You need a dinner reservation, or you want to get into the hottest club, or you want to take your child there, or you want to do this. And he becomes that bridge to get you from where you are to where you want to go. And I saw that same thing in that same kind of customer service mentality from your book. And so talk to us a little bit about creating those super fans, and it's more than just talking to them about real estate.
It's so much more than talking to them about real estate. And honestly, it's about more than just getting them to like you and just the relationship. Something that I see all the time on social media are people that say, I can't believe my friend didn't list their house with me, or I can't believe a friend just sent me a text about another realtor. I'm heartbroken. Like, I'm gutted. How could they have chosen someone else? And sometimes, there's countless reasons, right? Like, there's not one reason that happens. Everybody listening to this knows that. But I think oftentimes it's that even if somebody loves us, they don't see us as the expert in that space. And their love for us does not surpass their desire to like get top dollar for their home or find a place that they're going to love. So it's not just about, do you like me and do you trust me? It's that, do you like me and do you trust that I am the right person in this capacity, that I can serve in this role? And oftentimes when we just focus on relationships, we miss the credibility part. And often when we just focus on the industry, like building the credibility part, we miss the relationship. So it really is about the balance of both. Like, how do I prove to somebody that I'm really, really great at what I do, but I also really care about them? Like, we've got to be where those two worlds intersect.
Oh my gosh. Stop right there. And this is so funny. So like, it's my podcast, right? Like I have the recording. Like, I don't have to take the notes. Like I get the cheat sheet like now, right? But you just said something. I want to make sure everybody stops. Stop what you're doing. Listen to this right now. It's not about just the reputation. It's not about just the relationship. It's where those two intersect, the art and science of the relationship and the reputation. And you said something. It's not just about, do they like and trust me, but do they like and trust me in that capacity? Oh my, like that, like we're like 5 minutes in, and like that is like the mic drop, like the first mic drop. I am in the floor, because you're exactly right. It's not just about one or the other. It's about how they both play nicely together.
And it has to be both. And I feel like sometimes when one is prioritized over the other, it actually cannibalizes the other, right? Like, I know there are some people that have less trust in the job somebody would do because they're like, well, you're over here all the time trying to butter me up. Are you ever actually selling houses, or are you just like dropping by once a week with like a present out of the blue, or inviting me to something or doing something? Like, it all matters, but it has to be in the right amount, right? It's like when you're making lemonade, like you want the water and the lemon and the sugar, but if they're not the right amounts and mixed up, then it's going to just be a mess.
Oh yeah. But you're exactly right. It's the right proportion of both at the right time. Like, rising to the top of mind in the relationship when they need that and in the reputation when they need that. That is such, I've never ever really, God, and and I think I'm great at this stuff. Like, I think I am amazing.
I
And
think you're amazing too.
thank you. But
For the
I
record.
mean, seriously, like I think I'm great at the relationship side of it. And I think I have a great reputation. But you're exactly right. It's, do they like and trust you in that capacity? Because I just lost a listing to somebody who listed with the neighborhood expert. And I just got a listing, a big ass listing, from somebody whose best friend is a real estate agent. And she's like, I just think she's too close to the situation to do a great job as the real estate agent. And I was like, oh my God, like, she's gonna die over that $90,000. Like, that's a lot of money to lose on I'm too good of a friend. So Brittany, so how do you like you speak, but how do you, like, do you do courses? Do you like do workshops? Like can I come hang out with you for like a day and like learn how to create these raving fans, these super fans?
Well, I'm glad that you asked. I do have a workshop that I
Oh,
put together because so many people ask me to. And I actually have a real estate specific workshop that's called Creating Superfans for Real Estate. And it's not really something that's public because I am not trying to sell stuff D2C. Like, my main gig is speaking to corporations. That's what I do. And I created this training course about a year ago for large enterprise companies. And I had so many people in my like newsletter and on my socials saying, why don't you make something for us? Why don't you make something for us? Like, we want something. And so I actually put together a real estate course. So it's I'll drop you the link and you can have it. I honestly don't even know the URL on my website because I never even really talk about it. I just kind of send it to friends. So yes, I do have, it's a 6-week video course that's all about what I call my supermodel, which is a 5-part framework to find that right balance. And, one of the things that I talk about, Glenda, that I think is not on nearly enough people's radar, like people all the time, not just realtors, but a lot of realtors, but people who are in sales centric positions tell me all the time, I have an awareness problem. Not nearly enough people know about what I'm doing. I need a bigger budget. I need to go viral. I need to spend more time on socials. I need to buy a list. I need. And when I dig in, 99 times out of 100, it is not an awareness problem. Plenty of people know. Enough people for you to make a fantastic living for the rest of your life. They know. They don't care. It's an apathy problem. And you can't solve an apathy problem by throwing awareness tactics at it. You've got to give them compelling evidence for why they should care and what they should do next.
oh my gosh. It's not an awareness problem, it's an apathy problem. And you're exactly right. Like, everybody knows I'm a real estate agent in Atlanta, Georgia, for God's sake. Like, everybody in Atlanta should be doing business with me. I love that. So, okay. So, I mean, I'm so glad I've asked the right questions so far, because we would have never ever known there was a course that you've been hiding.
There
That you've
is.
been-
Yeah, I'll get you all the information. But yeah, it's $497 and it's a couple hours of video content, including a course that's just about real estate. That's like, this is what you need to do. This is how you take the supermodel and make it work. So yeah, I'll get the link for you.
That is awesome. That's great. So Brittany, so tell me, like what is your, I don't want to say your biggest success story, but like you obviously you have case studies of people that have implemented creating super fans.
Mhm.
What's not your biggest success story? What's your favorite story?
I think my favorite story is when people who have said to me, what I do is a commodity. I can't become a category of one. I'm always going to win or lose based on price, based on convenience, based on distance to where somebody lives. and then we find a way to make that not be the case. So a few months ago, I was on stage at the International Car Wash Show, which part of my favorite thing about being a speaker is I get to do all of these things that I'm like, I can't even believe that's a thing. This is so fun. So I was speaking to hundreds of car wash owners and GMs, and I was telling a story, and somebody actually interrupted me. Like, I'm doing my keynote, and somebody's like, hey, I got a question. And I was like, all right, what's your question? And he was like, well, this is like a big company. Like, I can't do this. Like, I don't have a budget. And I said, all right, well, let's talk about your business. Like, tell me who your most important customers are. And he said it was people who subscribed to the monthly come wash your car as much as you want package. And it was $25 a month for as many car washes as you want, like all you can eat style. And I was like, okay, so $300 a year, those customers are worth to you, not to mention like maybe they've got a spouse who they tell that they should be washing their car. They've got friends, they've got neighbors, all the things. But like one person, that's $300 of annual recurring revenue. And he said, yes. And I said, okay, what percentage of those people have children that come through the car wash? Because I've got two little kids. I know we are not allowed to go to the car wash without my kids because they love seeing the sponges and the soap and the squishy stuff. And my husband and I both have, like, I have a Tesla, so the whole top of it is glass. My husband has a giant moonroof on his car. So, you get to like see all of the fun stuff happening. And he said, I don't know, a lot of people come through with kids. And I said, what if every time somebody came through with a kid, when they were getting dried off by the attendant after they exited the tunnel, the attendant had the parent roll the window down to give the kid a Hot Wheels card. And then also a little like glasses wipe or electronics wipe with your car wash information on it, and said, Mom and Dad are doing a great job keeping their car clean. I want you to keep this car clean for me too. Can you do it? Like, what do you think? Do you think that Mom or Dad would keep that membership for another month or 2 or 10 based on that moment? And he was like, I don't know, maybe, but like, how much do Hot Wheels cars cost? And I was like, well, they cost $1 when you buy them at the grocery store. I'm sure you can get them bulk for cheaper than that. So he emailed me like 3 or 4 days later and said, I just wanted to let you know, I love this idea. I just bought 1,000 Hot Wheels cars and I'm going to give this a go. And his name is Bruno, and he's from Ohio. And so I followed up with Bruno from Ohio, like probably 6 months later, and said, how's it going? And he said, this has been the most incredible, impactful idea. The kids love it, the parents love it, and the attendees love it. We've given out 12,000 Hot Wheels cars in 6 months. We are never going to stop doing this. I said, well, talk to me about the ROI. Like, are people subscribing longer? Like, are people keeping their subscriptions? And he's like, we're working on figuring out how to do a better job of tracking that. So I can't tell you statistically for 100% yes, but anecdotally, absolutely they are. So that is like one example of don't try to outspend your competitors. Don't try to outsmart your competitors. Try to outcare your competitors. What can you do to show that you care the most?
Oh my gosh, outcare your competitor. We had this scheduled, I want to say maybe November or December, didn't we?
It was a long time ago.
And I can't remember. Something happened and we didn't get together. And I have to tell you, I'm so mad at myself because I feel like I'm probably a year mad at myself. Because had I gone deeper with you when we were in New York, I would have been a year ahead of where I am today creating Superfans. And this is the thing, that what happens is you sit in a room with somebody, you meet somebody, you cross paths with somebody, and you don't take action. Just like Bruno. Bruno could have had the conversation with you, gone back to Ohio, and never ever ordered a Hot Wheel. And he would have never ever known the impact he was missing in his business by inaction. How do you get the listener, the reader, the person in the room? How do you get them to take action?
So I believe that, all right, this is like a bad analogy, but I don't want to be the girl who asked the cute boy to the dance and have him say yes. I want to be the girl who gets the cute boy to want to ask her. And so a lot of the strategies in creating superfans and a lot of the things that I personally find to be beneficial to me are like, if I can let them think it's their idea, if I can create an environment where I lead someone to have that aha without me explicitly saying it, then I am so much better off. Because I'm sure you know, Glenda, would you rather say to somebody, give me your listing, or have somebody call you and say, please take my listing? Like, obviously the latter, right? So,
Right.
what are the things that we're doing to plant the seeds to create the environment in which people say, oh, well, this is obviously the right choice, either because they have come to that conclusion on their own, or what is the best way for it to happen because someone they trust told them they should trust you. Because here's a fun fact about referrals. Someone who comes to you via a referral is 4 times more likely to refer somebody else.
So true.
So that is like the, talk about mic drops. Like, yes, you should care about every single client. Yes, you should take amazing care of every single client. But when somebody is referred to you, you have such an opportunity to turn that into like 10 more deals. You have to super serve that client. You also have to close the gap with whoever referred them to you to like, not just thank them, but talk about all of the things that you're going to do to make sure that this friend who they, trusted you enough to connect the two of you, how much they know you're going to super serve that person. Because if you do that, if you can crush it for that person who was referred, they will send so much more business your way statistically compared to somebody who you cold call, who finds you on Google or social media or whatever.
I I I I love what you're saying and doing with people in so many industries. So you go to the car wash. Where was the car wash conference?
It was in Nashville. It was here where I live in Nashville.
Okay, so
It's
it
one of
was
the cool things about living here. I get to do a lot of events here. Actually, I have an event tomorrow with Phil. Phil and I are both speaking at an event tomorrow in Nashville for an insurance client. But yeah, I get to do a lot of events here.
I saw, I want to say I saw that you have like your tour schedule. Did you ever think that when you were managing all these celebrities, when you were in that business, did you ever think that you'd be one of the celebrities?
Never. And I'm certainly not a celebrity, but thank you for trying to put me in that category. But no, I definitely never. I always thought I was just, a marketing person and somebody who was really good at creating ideas and making things happen. So it's a lot of fun to get to share those ideas from stage these days.
You really do, but you really have kind of designed this amazing life around something that you're super passionate about. Was it, did you do it by design? Like once you figured out, oh, wait a minute, like this can be like a business, like I can do this as a business. Like did you then say, okay, wait a minute, here's the design, here's the outline. I want to write the book. Like what came first, the speaking or the book? Did the book create more speaking opportunities? Like where how what was your like roadmap? Like how did you know the roadmap? I guess because you manage those people or something.
Well, I always try to find the smartest people that I can surround myself with. So it was a lot of asking friends, like, who should I know? What should I do? Where should I go? And I have, they've now become very dear friends of mine. It's a couple whose names are Rory Vaden and AJ Vaden. And they
Oh
started, yeah, so Rory and AJ from Brand Builders Group.
yeah.
Yeah, they were some of the first ones who really showed me the ropes of speaking. I'd been speaking for maybe a year, kind of knew that I wanted to do it more, wasn't exactly sure what to do next or where to go. And a friend of mine said, call my friend Rory. He is, now he's a Hall of Fame public speaker. He wasn't yet at the time, but he was, still like world renowned and New York Times bestselling author. And because they are based here, and I was able to spend a lot of time with them, do a lot of their programming. Our kids go to the same school and are best friends. I was really fortunate to find people who I wanted to be like when I grew up and say, what do I do? And do it in a way like, here's another thing that I learned very early on in my entrepreneurial career. The fastest way to get in a room with anybody in the world is to make them want to be in a room with you. If you spend your time doing stuff that is cool, that is useful, that is interesting, so that other people see you and think, that seems like a cool person to hang out with, you can hang out with anybody you want to. But what people get wrong is they have this like pick me syndrome, right? Of just like trying to like beg people for attention. And it's like, well, what are you doing to add value? Like, why should I gift my time to you? What's in it for me? Like, maybe you can pay to hang out with me, but like, the busiest people, the people that you want to hang out with most aren't people that you can buy time with. They're people that you have to earn time with. And you do it by being interesting or fascinating or having some sort of perspective or point of view that they are going to be interested in. And so that's why, this idea of everybody sort of having a personal brand and having something that they care about, that they're passionate about, that they can speak to is a really great strategy for getting one-on-one time with people that you want to learn from.
That's so true. And, obviously I have paid to be in rooms with people,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it is a completely different relationship when you're paying to be in the room with someone rather than them just seeking you out. And almost like it's almost like you become the attraction, you become valuable to them, and it changes the dynamic of the relationship. And so you make a very interesting point about um, you know the best way to get into the room with somebody is to have them want to be in the room with you. I mean, that's great. I love that.
That's like the philosophy that I try to live my life by is what am I doing to earn my way into rooms that I feel like I don't deserve to be in, right? Like the ones where I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to pinch myself. How did I get an invite to this dinner? How did I get an invite to this event? How do I get to spend time with these people who I love and admire? Because here's the thing, Glenda, I'm sure this happens to you all the time. Like many of my closest girlfriends are people that I like sort of idolized before I got to be friends with. That I was like, there's no way this person would ever want to be friends with me. They've done this. They're so great. Oh my gosh. Like if I could ever just, and then you hang out with them and what do you find
Yeah.
out? Like they're just like you. They're
Yeah.
literally just like you. They're just people who, have crazy things happen to them, who are trying to figure out life, who are trying to do a million things. And so that has been something that I continue to enjoy having happen again and again and again, where I'll like laugh with some of my girlfriends and I'm like, I can't believe it took me like 8 months to build up the courage to DM you. Like I missed out on so much time of us just like being girlfriends because I was like, why would she want to like have dinner with me? Why would she want to do this? Why would she want to do that? But then I have to remind myself, oh yeah, I am trying to like I'm trying to keep up my part of the bargain. I am trying to like do the things to make other people want to hang out with me and think I'm kind of badass too.
So one thing that I notice is that um, you've kind of like creating super fans is like exactly what to say. So exactly what to say is like that's the foundation. Creating super fans, that's the foundation. And then you're creating super fans for car washes, creating super fans for real estate, creating super fans for mortgage, creating super fans for insurance, it sounds like tomorrow. So how you're a real estate agent. Most of the people who are listening to us today are, they're real estate agents or they're affiliated with the real estate business in some way. As a real estate agent, what do you think is most critical? How do you think that you look at the super fan and really kind of get those people that stick to you forever?
Yeah, well, to clarify, I am not a real estate agent. So
Right.
for anybody listening, this is my outside perspective, but I think it's one of the things that I hear real estate agents brag about all the time is how many contacts are in their database, right? Like it's this big flex. And I always say, I do not care at all how many contacts are in your database. What I care about is how many people have you in theirs. How many people, after they've met you, after they've worked with you, say that is somebody who I need to save in my phone because I want to continue to have a relationship with you. I want to continue to know you.
Well,
Did I break you? I was like, oh no, Glenda.
Brittany, I swear, I feel like I feel like I could just stop right now. I mean, holy shit. Like, I am like, that she did not just say that because you're exactly right. Like, the big flex is like, oh, like I have a zillion contacts. And
Cool, you sold 8 houses last year.
yeah,
Tell
and
me
who
again how big your database is.
yeah, and who gives a shit? I mean, because the thing about it is that when they're in your database, you got to contact them. But when you're in theirs, they're contacting you. Everything, every single thing that you're doing is about making yourself the magnet. Like you're like you are like the like everybody wants to come to you. It's almost like that like there's this magnetic pull to be around you, and that's kind of like the key to creating the super fans. That's like the kryptonite. Is am I thinking clearly?
Yes. But also, I don't want it to be misinterpreted that okay,
It's all
so
about you.
no, right. So like
Yeah.
nerd out with me a minute. Like back in the day when everybody thought the earth was the center of the universe and everything revolved around the earth, right? Like it was heresy to suggest otherwise. And obviously now clearly we know like the earth rotates around the sun. Don't try to be the sun and have all of your clients rotate around you. Recognize that to each of your clients, they are the sun. They are the center of their universe, and you're just trying to get a spot as a planet revolving around them. Like, you just want to be in the orbit, right? Like, you want to be close enough to where that gravitational pull has you attracted, not just like, asteroids and comets like zipping through. Like, you want that gravitational pull. So, it is not all about you. It's about connecting your story to theirs. Superfans are created at the intersection of your story and every customer story, where you can make your expertise relevant to their need. That is where apathy dies. That is where you literally go from being a commodity provider to a category of one. I don't think there has been a single case in recorded history of somebody being like, I would love to work with a real estate agent. If only I could find one, right? Like, it's not about, like, can I find one? It's like, which of the 98 Facebook connections that I have, which of the 14 people that I graduated high school with, should I, like, throw this jump ball at, right? Like, it feels like dropping meat into, like, a piranha pond. Like, there are plenty of realtors. How are you going to make them understand that you are the one that they should choose?
If you don't have any friends, put in a Facebook group that you are looking for a house, and you will have 98 friends that are real estate agents, and they will friend you and DM you like nobody's business. That is hilarious. Okay, so let me ask you a question. So, how long have you lived in Nashville?
8 years.
And where did you move from?
New York.
Oh, stars, you moved from New York.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah, I lived in the city for 11 years before I moved here.
Where are you from originally?
Oklahoma.
Oh, wow. Wow, have been here, there, and everywhere. Okay. So when you moved to Nashville, how did you pick your real estate agent?
This is actually a really fun story. So my husband and my mother-in-law happened to be in Nashville because my mother-in-law was thinking like, oh, maybe I'll move to Nashville one of these days, wanted to have a fun trip down. They went to an open house randomly, like found one on the internet or something, met a realtor named Susie who was there showing the house and struck up a conversation. My mother-in-law said, oh, I live in Michigan. I'm not really looking to move. I'm just, kind of here. And said, I don't know about the allergens here. Like, I've had such a runny nose. I've been sneezing. We don't have all of this ragweed in Michigan. And Susie said, well, what I always swear by that my mom always told me is local honey. Like, get some local honey and that'll help with the allergies. And later that night, Susie went and got some local honey from a farmer's market and dropped it off at the hotel where my husband and my mother-in-law were staying, which of course my mother-in-law was like, oh my gosh, that was so sweet. That was so great. Like, had her hooked, right? So I think it was the next day to go look at houses, didn't see anything. But of course, my mother-in-law told like everyone on the planet she knew about that honey. So a few months later, maybe a year later, like not super soon after that, I was in Nashville. I'd been lobbying to move to Nashville for years and just was kind of waiting for the right time because I was running this big company in New York and my husband's job was in New York. And so I happened to be in New York, fun fact, for a meeting with Dolly Parton because we were working on a project together at the time. And my husband got permission to move like while I was in Nashville for this Dolly project. And I was like, I'm going to call Susie and go look at houses tomorrow. And he was like, please don't buy a house. And I was like, I'm going to buy a house. What sort of like psycho do you think I am? I'm going to just go look at houses. And he's like, I know you. You're going to buy a house. I was like, I'm not going to buy a house. I'm going to just like text Susie and see if she can show me some places. Well, he knows me better than I know me, apparently, because after like 6 places, I was like, can we buy this one? Like, how do I get this house? Like, I have 2 hours before I need to be at the airport. Can we, like, how long does it take to buy a house? Can we, like, do it? And Susie was like, yeah, we can put an offer in. Like, it won't take much time at all. And I remember asking, like, is there time to still go to Chick-fil-A though before? Because I really wanted to go to Chick-fil-A because at the time there weren't Chick-fil-A's in Manhattan. And I was like, I want to make, and she was like, don't worry, I'll make sure like somebody can bring us Chick-fil-A. Let's go put in, let's go like put an offer in. So we made the offer on this house. My poor husband at this point was flying back from LA to New York. And I'd emailed him and he couldn't get the MLS to load on the plane Wi-Fi. And he's just like writing in all capital letters emails to me like, do not buy a house. And so I thought it would probably like take a while for the offer to go through. But Susie drove me to the airport. And by the time I landed at LaGuardia, the offer had been accepted. And so I had to be like, yay, we bought a house. And meanwhile, my very practical adult husband is asking me all of these like very fair questions about, you know, like the neighborhood and the school districts. And I remember he was like, how far is it from a hospital? And I was like, how often are you going to need to go to the hospital? I don't know. I'm sure there's like city planners who thought of all of these things because it was in a town that we'd never even been to before called Franklin. And anyway, it all worked out. And Susie is incredible. And I could tell you a million stories about all the things that she did to take care of us to become like my fairy godmother. But now she's sold, you know, our house. She sold us our house. She sold my mother-in-law her house. I've sent every single friend and colleague that I know that is moving to work with Susie. She's done so many closings, so many houses, all because she took some honey to my mother-in-law.
But think about it. There wasn't anywhere in that story that you talked about Susie had sold this many houses, Susie had been in real estate this many years, Susie had won this award. Susie literally filled the void of your family. Yeah. She handled the allergies. She made sure you had Chick-fil-A. She got you to the airport on time. And it sounds like she made the process of buying so smooth, and she gave you clarity and certainty to be comfortable and confident to work with her.
Oh, she was incredible. And all the things that she did, I mean, we literally knew nothing. Like, I never forget. She was like, so where are you going to get the loan? And I was like, those come from banks, right? Like, I knew nothing. I never bought a house. She took care of me so much. So her name is Susie Mills. She's brilliant. She is always the top realtor in Middle Tennessee. Like I see her stuff on Facebook where she posts. But here is the story that she told me, and I don't think she would mind me sharing this. I'm sure she's probably shared it publicly. She became a realtor because of a terrible experience she had. She was living in Mississippi with her husband, Marty, and their 2 little kiddos. And when they moved to Nashville, she worked with a realtor who a friend had referred to her and had just a horrible experience. And toward the end, like asked the realtor, like said, like, I'm so sorry. Like my friend, you know, this just doesn't match the experience. Like I feel like you're not very warm and everything has been so hard. And that realtor said to her, your friend's budget was 3 times what your budget is. Like basically said, you're not worth me being as nice to you as I was to your friend because I made so much more money off her deal that I'm going to make off yours. And so Susie decided, all right, well, I'm going to get my real estate license and I'm going to make sure that nobody ever works with this first and again, right? Like I'm going to steal all the business. And two, I'm going to make sure that nobody ever feels like they matter less than someone whose budget is larger than theirs. And because of that, because she goes into every single deal wanting to be not just your realtor, but like honestly your fairy godmother, right? Like how can I take care of you now, but also forever? I joke sometimes with my husband that Susie's still trying to like work off the commission because we get so many things from her. Like there's so many times that she'll just like drop by with like, dinner or a pie or a cake or toys for the kids. She threw me a baby shower when I was expecting my first son because we didn't know that many people. And, she was like, oh, I feel bad we never did a housewarming party. Like, let me throw you a baby shower. Just all of these things. And I joke, I'm like, oh yeah, she's just trying to like, make a dent in that. And obviously I'm, it's a joke, but she has that generosity of like, I joke that she's my fairy godmother and she's absolutely incredible. And because of that, obviously, like there's nobody I'd ever work with. And it's funny because I have so many friends that are in real estate. And I'm like, look, I'm going to just tell you straight up, like, not only am I not going to work with you, I'm probably not going to send people to you because until Susie stops practicing real estate, every single friend that I have that's moving here is going to Susie.
That is such an amazing story. And what an amazing testament to a great real estate agent who created a super fan from like the founder of creating Superfans. I mean, like she and at that point you weren't doing the Superfan thing.
I wasn't. Yeah, I hadn't written the book yet. It's funny. I'm trying to remember. I don't think I wrote about Susie in the book. My book went through so many iterations and so many edits. I wrote something about Susie that was in an early version, but I'm like 99% sure I didn't make it in the final book. I may talk about her in the video course, though, when I talk about the real estate version of creating Superfans, because she is phenomenal. I love, love, love her.
That's awesome. So what's next for you? I mean, like, where can we find you? What are where do you want to go? Like, where do you see yourself? Like in your wildest dream, what is the next step for Brittany Hodak?
I love being on stages. I want to continue to speak. I want to continue to write. I want to inspire people to think about their customers, not just as, transactions, but as the opportunity to create transformation, to create people that will be in your life or in your orbit for years or decades to come. And so that's the plan, is to keep doing this. I have my first big national research study that I'm doing right now. So the results of that will be out soon, where I'm really trying to study from a intellectual and academic perspective what it is that increases the odds that somebody will make a referral, and the odds that somebody will continue to be loyal to your brand. So look for that to come soon. But in the meantime, you can find all of the things at BrittanyHodak.com, and I'm going to get you the link for the 6 Weeks to Superfans creating Superfans Masterclass for realtors.
Well, I cannot wait to get that. But Brittany, as I said, when I met you, I knew that you were a force to be reckoned with. And you were such an inspiration. You brought such energy. And I thought to myself, I want more of that. You did what you told us to do. You made me want to be in a room with you. You made me want to to have you in my contact list. So thank you. The time together flew by far too fast. But I have to tell you, if I can ever do anything for you here in Atlanta, you're going to be here this week. I'd love to set you up with a dinner reservation or anything that you need here in Atlanta. Even though I won't be here, I would love to help you any way that I can. You have been amazing, and you have created a super fan in me for you. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Glennda. It is mutual. I am your super fan as well, and can't wait till we get to hang out again.
I love all the stars. I feel a little naked because I came in without my stars. I had 3 listing appointments today. I didn't wear any stars. I feel a little bit naked, but I'm glad that you represented with all this.
I got them on my sleeves. I got them everywhere. I'm repping for both of us today.
I love it. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I have just spent the last few minutes with the amazing Brittany Hodak, the author of Creating Superfans. And we will have Creating Superfans for real estate agents. We will have that for you. If you loved what you heard, I can't wait for you to see that. And there were so many mic drop moments in this time together and in this Glennda's Guru. Brittany definitely has set the bar high for our next episode. I don't know that I'm going to find anybody better than you, but Brittany, thank you so much for your time and your talent. You have definitely inspired, impacted, and informed me today. And I can't thank you enough.
Thank you, friends.
All right, guys. My name is Glennda Baker. I'm a real estate agent in Atlanta, Georgia. And as I always say, send me a text, tag me in a post, give me a call. That's what I love the most, because I'd love the opportunity to talk real estate with you today. See ya.